My name's Keith Frey. Here's my email address, my phone number to go over our new products. And if you guys have any questions during the time, just write those out and I'll try to get to those. And of course, if you think of anything afterwards, just email me or give me a call. All right. All right, let's jump in. So for those of you who are not familiar with PureLink, we've been around just getting to 25 years here soon. A lot of the innovations in the industry come from PureLink, including HDCP key management across matrix systems, as well as EDID management. Those are credited to PureLink and many other 4K scalers and so on. All right, so check us out on the web, purelinkAV.com. Give us a call, come to our trade show booth. We're going to first look at our control system. So we did actually launch this last year, but this is really a revolutionary control system that we brought to market. The first significant feature is the programming language is not even really any difficult language. You just write in English, and you also use mouse clicks to write code. So it's extremely easy, which means extremely fast, very low educational track requirements. You can literally be programming the same day that you open the manual and be creating useful projects. So that's really important. It means less cost of setup programming for your projects. It's also a a la carte system. All of our touch panels, keypads, those are integrated controllers. So you don't necessarily need any of these black boxes. We do have them to allow for I/O expansion across the network. So if you need additional I/O connections in different rooms or different floors or different buildings, you can expand this system. And you can use one or more than one touch panel. You can use 4-inch, 10-inch. You can mix and match. You can use keypads. And you can also use Android, Mac, and Windows tablets as interfaces. So it's extremely flexible and scalable. So what's really new with this, since we launched it last year, is our wall mount version of the 10-inch panel. So in the previous slide, you'll see we've got the tabletop 10-inch, 4-inch is wall mount, keypad is wall mount, but we've added the wall mount 10-inch. It's basically the exact same product as the tabletop, just in a different housing so that it can be used in the wall. And we provide you with the gang box that you need to mount this. And it is PoE powered, so you just need one LAN cable to this touch panel to power it and also connect to devices to control. You can use it as the interface for the C8 master controller, so it has both a controller mode and a slave mode to allow the C8 to take over, and our E4, the little box with all the LEDs and connections on it, that's the expander. So you can use that with the touch panel to add additional control ports, and you can use as many E4s as you need in your system to expand it. Okay, so Icon, definitely a great choice if you want something simple and easy to get up and running, very, very cost effective in that way, as well as just cost of ownership, and extremely scalable. Okay, so we're going to jump to USB-C. This is obviously a big thing these days. Lots of huddle rooms and conference rooms now are using USB-C to transport video, audio, control, and power all on one connection. And you're seeing laptops coming out that have USB-C outputs, and also, of course, charging on that USB-C connector. So here we've got a USB 3.2 Gen 1 extender, as well as USB 2.0 and 1.1, and that is 100 meters over Cat6, and it also offers RS-232 extension in addition to that. This product is TAA compliant as well. So the Hue 100, this is also an extender, but it's a little different. It's got HDMI and USB-C inputs on it, and you can switch with the front panel button, or you can use RS-232 commands to do that switching. and it also provides USB 2.0 and 1.1 extension capability, as well as infrared extension in both directions and RS-232 extension, as well as supporting all forms of HDR. So take a look at that. Okay, now as in terms of Dante, we've got a whole bunch of products here. So the first one up is from our flagship cross-platform matrix switch. This is our Max 2. We're not going to get into this product in complete detail in this session, but know that this has got a vast number of I/O on it, from 12G SDI, DisplayPort, HDMI, and I can extend over fiber or HDBaseT 3.0, and it's a full 4K 60 uncompressed cross-platform matrix, and it's the largest in the world of its kind. That we have different frame sizes, anywhere from a 12 by 12, 12 in, 12 out, to 288 in and 288 out. It's a total of 7 frame sizes. So go on our website, look at the Max 2, but today we're just really talking about the Dante card. So that is the card I'm showing you here, and this is an HDMI output card, but the Dante connectivity on it is Dante in and out. So there's, on the input, you've got, I believe it's a total of 24 Dante inputs, and on the outputs you have up to 8 channels that can be embedded on each of those 4 HDMI outputs. And when I say up to 8, so you can just do a stereo pair off the Dante network through each of those HDMI outs, but you can also do 8 channels of Dante audio signals embedded to each of those HDMI outputs. Okay, other news in Dante. So we've got this very useful, and I use this literally every day in my lab, but I've got a 2 input, 2 output USB dongle that lets me take 2 channels of Dante audio out of my laptop onto the network, and also simultaneously take 2 channels of Dante audio into my laptop. And this is powered off of the USB connection. And we also have more commercial type dongles, the 2 output dongles. So this is powered from the network switch, so PoE powered, and it allows me to take 2 channels of Dante audio and convert them to analog, so I can put them into an audio mixer or processor or many other devices that take balanced XLR inputs, a broadcast switch, maybe that as well. Okay, so lots of opportunities for this kind of product. And in the opposite direction, I can take 2 channels of balanced analog audio off of the output of a mixer or a broadcast switch or processor and convert that to 2 channels of Dante audio and put that out on the network. And this is also powered off PoE. And then we have a number of Dante products that are rack mount, and these of course are for install type situations. This is our 0404, and it has 4 balanced inputs and 4 balanced outputs of analog audio. But I also have USB audio I/O on it, and it has an additional 4 inputs and 4 outputs of just Dante networked audio. So it's actually quite a lot of I/O on this box, and it has a complete suite of DSP options, including adaptive feedback control, automatic echo cancellation, noise suppression, ambient noise compensation, automatic gain control, compression, expansion, and of course equalization. So I've got parametric and graphic EQs. So it's a full suite of DSP solutions for every channel. And we also offer the same exact functionality with additional I/O connectivity. So its bigger brother here is 8 audio analog balanced inputs and outputs. Again, they can be mic or line level, and you have USB as well as additional just Dante audio networking capability in this. So additional connectivity here, and even further in our 16 in, 16 out. And that's, again, just to be clear, that's just analog. And then I've got an additional 16 Dante and inputs and 16 Dante outputs. So I would really encourage using our test drive program, get some of these products in to kick the tires and feel them out in your project or application. Okay, switching gears, we're going to look at some AV over IP products. Our biggest seller right now is our 4K60 444 HDR encoder decoder system, which is the T400. That is TAA compliant. You're seeing at the bottom here the encoder and decoder in the box form, but we've added a wall plate, and this is HDMI and USB 2.0 with audio insertion capability, 3.5 millimeter stereo analog unbalanced input on there. So just to cover something in the practical design of a 4K60 JPEG 2000 based encoder decoder system, it is not possible to make it single gang. The chipset is just too big. So you won't find a 4K60 JPEG 2000 wall plate that's single gang. It just can't be done. And if somebody's trying to sell you one, it's probably not 4K60. So keep an eye out for that. But we tried, it's just not possible. So it's two gang. So the digital display on there tells you what channel that wall plate is multicasting its stream on, and you've got statuses on there indicating whether it's linked to any decoders and so on. But that is now in production, so take a look at that, and that works with the T400 encoders and decoders. It just falls right into place with those transparently. We've got drivers for our Icon control system, as well as QSYS and Crestron control. And I may have overlooked mentioning before, we do have Icon drivers for everything I've already showed you. All right, so that's our T400 system, 4K60 encoder decoders now with the wall plate. So let's take a look at our streaming encoder, our VIP Stream 200. This is a different type of streaming product. This is where you have an encoder that streams to what we call soft endpoints, or some displays actually will accept the output. So it's a H.264 based, and the reason that we go with that is it's very low bandwidth, and that is the name of the game when, one, you're trying to get a lot of sources streaming on the network, and two, when you're streaming out to the internet and trying to get to YouTube and Facebook and many others. This can stream up to 3 platforms simultaneously. So I can stream to YouTube or Twitch, simultaneously, and so on. It puts out TS, RTP, RTSP, RTMP, and RTMPS stream types. So please go take a look at that on our website. This has been a big hit because it allows so many things to now become a broadcast device. So you can stream your broadcast switch for House of Worship. You can stream media players, laptops, cameras, many other source type devices. And it doesn't just have to go out on the network, internet. It can go into a local network. So there's a lot of clients and applications that use LG WebOS using our encoders to send sources around large venues. So if you have like a stadium or an arena and you're trying to move data, video, audio around those large venues, you can have a rack of sources with the VIP Stream 200s and encode them onto the network, and then any display that accepts H.264 input, which is not limited to LG, but that's the most popular one right now, can ingest those streams. So take a look at that. And also, there's just playback software programs like OBS or VLC that can take the stream out of the Stream 200. Okay, next up is the PS610. This is a presentation switch for huddle rooms, conference rooms, auditoriums, house of worship, meeting spaces, hotel AV. So it's got a lot of different applications, but it's 4K 60 with instant seamless switching, and it encompasses all the new trends. So we've got USB-C, 2 inputs, USB-C, both of them offer charging. So if you plug in a laptop just with USB-C, it's going to charge that laptop and it's going to get the video audio signals into the switch. So that is cool. And then we've got HDMI inputs on the back. We have 3 of those. So that's 5 inputs on the main switch. But then you see an HD-Base-T receiver, which comes included in the price with the switch. That has a local HDMI input. So that's your 6th input, local, and you can either use the button on the receiver to switch between inputs from the main switch or the local HDMI in, or you can use control commands. And again, we have an Icon driver ready to go on this, as well as QSYS and Crestron. The other things that you can do with this is multi-view. You see the different multi-view layouts at the bottom there. It does have priority switching capability. You can do presets. So it's just loaded with features. And on the output, I've got my HD-Base-T output, but I also have a mirrored HDMI out. I can do balanced or unbalanced stereo analog input, and I also can extract balanced or unbalanced stereo analog output from the main switch or the receiver, as well as USB 2.0 1.1 extension. And there's more. We have Dante built into this, so I can bring 2 channels of Dante audio into the switch and use that as my audio, or I can take the audio from the output of the switch and 2 channels and send that out to the Dante network. Maybe I've got a codec or speaker system. There's many possibilities there, but the Dante I/O really adds a flexibility to this product. So it's a very cool product, and of course you see the remote control, so you can certainly control it that way as well. Okay, last up is our HuddleCam 400. So the HuddleCam has really, it's 3 products in one. It's a microphone, speaker, and auto tracking camera. So it's an all-in-one system. You just mount this near your display, and you see this microphone puck in the lower right. That's optional. You don't have to have that. The HuddleCam 400 has a built-in microphone in the main unit, so you don't have to have that if you don't want, but you can certainly add that on. And in the center of that mic puck is a mute button with diagnostic LED. So if it's green, everyone can hear you. And if it's red, it's muted. So if you're saying something you don't want people to hear you, you're safe. Okay, so it's a true 4K chip. And what's really important about this HuddleCam that separates it from all of the rest of the field, where you see multiple lenses and chips and electronic zoom, pan tilt, and all that, is we have motorized optics. All right, so the reason this is a good thing is because I can take advantage of the resolution of that 4K chip without sacrificing it to electronic zoom any more than necessary. So you'll see products like this from other manufacturers where the zoom, the pan, and the tilt is really being done by only using part of the chip. So you're not even really getting the full advantage of the chip, because you can't move around on a 4K chip unless you're only using part of it. So we don't do that. We use the full chip and we move the optical assembly. So when the HuddleCam 400 senses the person on the left side of the conference room table is talking, the lens will move. It will mechanically pan towards that person. And then if the person on the right side of the table starts talking, it will pan over to them. But you can also set it to capture both speakers, and you can either do that manually or you can set an automatic mode so that it will figure out that there's a conversation happening between the two people, and it will use its algorithm to set the Zoom to capture both people going back and forth in that conversation. Okay, so again, true pan and tilt. And the other thing is you get the best bang for your buck here because you're using one set of high quality optics. So we get to invest our money in the best glass and then the best chip, because you'll also see other huddle cams where they have multiple chips and lenses to achieve the same thing. So you're spending more money to have more chips and lenses when all you really had to do was just have this track the speaker and pan and tilt and zoom accordingly. Okay, so the speaker system is quite high quality. Really, the best thing ever is to just get one in and test it. But it does sound quite good. It has a bass reflex port on it, so it has a nice full response to it. And the output is both HDMI and USB-C. So I can connect this USB-C, and all your popular meeting codecs will recognize it: Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, and so on. So it's automatic plug and play. It'll just be one of your choices in your meeting software. So it's extremely easy to use, and you do have the full featured remote control as well. Okay, so please check that out, and that brings us to test drive. So that's all the products I'm showing you today. There is a couple things for those who are going to the show. You are going to see we couldn't get the marketing done by today, but next week you should see an e-blast about this. But we have a version of the VIP T400s that has Dante, and we're going to be debuting that at InfoComm. So you're going to see a couple of samples on the show floor of AV over IP encoders, JPEG 2000 based, so they'll still work on 1G networks, but that also offer Dante connectivity as well. The other thing you're going to see that will debut at the show that I don't have ready for you today is more USB-C cables. So we're going to have both copper and fiber cables, and also USB-C dongles that go across CAT cable. So ultimately, you're going to see from PureLink a complete line of USB-C cable solutions for every scenario that you can think of. So watch out for more news on that next week and at the show. But getting back to test drive, everything that I showed you is in production. So if you want to try it out, just contact us for an evaluation. We'll be glad to send it to you. We think there's nothing better than, as a customer or reseller, being able to kick the tires on the product and have your own level of confidence in it. Okay, so more news on PureLink can be found, especially at LinkedIn. So please follow us on LinkedIn. When we see new followers, you automatically get entered to win a little bit of money. So take advantage of that. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and we're always putting new stuff on YouTube. And of course, we'd really like to see you at the show. All right, so that concludes our time today. Please take advantage of our test drive. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and more. And we'll see you guys at the show and at the next webinar. So thanks for your time.